Hey everyone, Sam here, also known as Mr. Stainless, and we have just got confirmation that some of the characters from the first State of Decay game will be returning in the sequel. Not only that, but their return equally gives us an idea about what the story will be in State of Decay 2. Today I'm going to be going through everything we know, but before I do, if you want to join the community of survivors here on the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. I upload at least 2 State of Decay 2 videos every week to help you prepare for the coming apocalypse. So last week I brought you all a video discussing whether or not the characters from the first game would be returning in the sequel. Now from what we knew at the time, and from what the devs were saying, we knew that there could be an Easter egg or a mention of them in the game, but nothing really more than that. Well, this week, a number of other press outlets and sites have been releasing content that they captured while at Undead Labs for a big pre-launch press event, and one very keen-eyed viewer here on the Mr. Stainless channel spotted something very interesting in one of these videos and got in touch with me, so you can all thank Ecstatic Fungus for today's video, also just because he has probably one of the most beautiful and disgusting names that you could have here on YouTube. But in a big 38-minute long video from US GamerNet, at about 21 or so minutes in, the survivors get a call over the radio from a very familiar voice. Take a look at this.
Sounds like somebody doesn't care for how Red Talon does things.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lily Ritter is returning. Not only that, she seems to be one of the leaders, or at least a member, of a group called the Network. Not only that, but it seems like she's up to her old tricks of being a nice person and trying to save people. I mean, what a kiss ass! Joking aside though, this is massive news, because it gives us a much clearer picture of the narrative landscape of the game itself. Now earlier this week, for those of you who have watched it, I brought you the video about how Red Talon were returning in State of Decay 2. If you haven't watched it, pow, up in the top right of your screen, you'll see a little annotation for it there. But funnily enough, they equally were confirmed to return via a radio broadcast. But what Lily says, I find, is quite telling as to how we may end up interacting with Red Talon as well. So this wouldn't be a Mr. Stainless video without a healthy dose of speculation. So here's what I think. We know that State of Decay 2 takes place about 15 months, I think it is, after the events of the first game. Now what I believe will have happened is that Lily and the gang will have escaped from Trumbull Valley and headed to the location or locations that we see in State of Decay 2. They found a solid base, they found other survivors, and they've decided to dig in and help each other. Now over time, they'll have found other groups, other communities, and together created a network of communities that protect and supply each other with whatever they need, whenever they are in need of it. So it's very similar to what Rick Grimes, notice that I got the name right this time, not Nick Grimes, Rick Grimes does in the Walking Dead graphic novels, bringing together a number of communities and outposts to protect one another and supply one another with food and arms. Equally, what we know from The Walking Dead is that that idyllic idea doesn't always work out. We know that Red Talon, a private military contractor, have returned in State of Decay 2, and while I don't believe that they are the enemies in the game, I think what Lily is saying could lead us to believe that they are at least an antagonistic force. Now what I believe will happen in State of Decay 2 is that we in our community will have a choice. We can ally ourselves with the network, work with them and their groups of communities in return for their support. Or we could ally ourselves with Red Talon. The way I believe that'll work is that you'll have to pay a tribute kind of thing to Red Talon in food or materials or a number of other resources, but in return you'll most likely gain access to high-end weaponry and most likely the fabled airstrike radio command that we've heard mentioned before. By allying ourselves with the network, we may not have to pay so much as a tribute, but we equally may not get access to the superior equipment and the airstrike ability that we would if we allied ourselves with the military contractors. Equally, with all of this, it's very easy to jump onto an excitement train and just assume that because Lily is back, everyone from the first game is back. I don't believe that will be the case at all, actually. I would love if it was, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple of familiar faces, but as we all know, Lily was more or less one of, if not the only, invulnerable character in the first game. Because of this, she may talk about how brave survivors like Marcus and Ed got her here, but eventually fell to the undead. And it's because of them, because of all the good that they, and in essence, we as the players did in the first game, that she started the network. Either way, this is incredibly exciting news, and it just makes me want to get my hands on the game even more at this point. But folks, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. Do you think I'm right? In the meantime, if this is the first time you've come across my channel, you are so welcome. Feel free to subscribe to be kept up to date with all of my State of Decay videos. But until next time, folks, have a great week, and I will, of course, speak to you all soon.